The phrase Black and Brown coalition gets thrown around like we are best friends forever, as if the Black and Hispanic communities just organically rose up together in political unity. But the truth is far more administrative, it's far more strategic, and far less sentimental. What we call the Black and Brown Coalition wasn't born out of shared culture. It was born out of federal paperwork, political necessity, and a legal loophole from the 1970s. Let's walk through how this actually formed and why it matters now. After the Voting Rights Act passed, the law allowed two minority groups to combine their populations to form a minority coalition district. But there was a problem. Hispanics were legally classified as white, not a minority, not a protected class, and certainly not eligible for coalition status. So the Black and Brown Coalition literally did not exist yet. In the 1970s, voting materials were only printed in English. Congresswoman Barbara Jordan supported fixing that, but she wasn't acting alone. A broader confederation of Latino advocacy groups, Asian legal organizations, civil rights lawyers, and Democratic lawmakers from the Southwest used that moment to push for something bigger. Instead of translating ballots, they created a new protected category called language minorities. Congress extended it to white people from Spanish-speaking nations, Asians, and Native Americans. This wasn't about racism or shared oppression. It was an administrative change that redefined who counted as a minority under the Voting Rights Act. And that single shift is what made the Black and Brown Coalition legally possible. Once Hispanics were recognized as a minority group for the Voting Rights Act purposes, Black communities could legally form minority coalition districts with them. This allowed Black voters in certain areas to finally create districts where they could elect a Black representative to Congress, something that wasn't possible with Black population numbers alone. But there was a catch. To justify a coalition district in court, the two groups had to show evidence of political cohesion, that they voted as a single bloc. So, politicians began repeating the phrase, the Black and Brown Coalition, everywhere. I mean, in media interviews, in campaign speeches, in community events, even in sacred Black cultural spaces where the groups had never historically mixed. This was not because we were friends like that. This was legal documentation, a public record to defend the minority coalition district if challenged in court. Even calling Hispanics brown was part of aligning them with the Black political narrative, despite the fact that they were still racially classified as white people, and they're actually the original white people. Historically, Spanish and Latino colonizers were the first to enslave Black people in the Americas. The word Negro comes from the Spanish word negro. And they also had not been treated as Black in United States society. Therefore, the Black and Brown rhetoric was strategic and certainly not cultural. In the 1980s, federal policy allowed large numbers of Hispanic immigrants to enter the United States. And over time, many of them settled in historically Black neighborhoods. Even as the tensions rose, which I'm sure you've seen on the news, including discrimination and violence against Black residents from Hispanic terrorists, the Black and Brown coalition narrative stayed in place. It became so dominant that Black-specific advocacy was pushed to the margins and replaced by broader people of color language that diluted Black political needs. As Hispanic citizen voting age population, aka CVAP, grew, especially in states like Texas, the dynamic changed. In several areas, Hispanics began using small pockets of Black CVAP to form their own coalition districts, but this time with Hispanics as the majority. That's what happened in the 2025 Dallas redistricting controversy. The old Black Hispanic coalition district was split. Hispanics formed a new Hispanic majority district. Black voters were no longer needed to anchor the coalition. And the Hispanic majority district voted against the Black incumbent and even voted for President Trump. The coalition was dissolved the moment it no longer served Hispanic political interests. What began as a legal strategy to help Black voters gain representation eventually became a political narrative that cost Black communities more than it gave. The gains, a handful of districts, are tiny compared to the massive social and political capital transferred to Hispanic groups over decades, such as demographic leverage, political influence, institutional recognition, such as Hispanic serving institutions, or what's known as HSIs, and cultural positioning. And through it all, no Black politician has ever explained the civic origins of the coalition or the long-term consequences. Because the truth is simple. There was never a cultural or social friendship coalition. There was only a legal coalition, and it expired the moment the numbers shifted. So tell me, what has the Black and Brown coalition meant in your lived experience? Have you ever experienced anti-Black racism from Hispanic individuals or institutions, but felt conflicted because of this whole Black and Brown coalition narrative that you were taught? Let me know. I hope this video was enlightening, and I hope it finally concludes this Black and Brown mythos. Our people need to know this, so please share this very important video. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. This has been Glamourus.